Hello and welcome to episode number 242 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be Friday Night Smackdown for week 3 of April 2022. Third day in a row this will be. That's not something I've been used to in Season 5 so far, but hey, as I said, the early episodes are going to be like the ones that are going to take more time up, and because they had the most editing to do. And now these are just basically straight booking, which is going to make them a lot easier, so we should be able to smash through these quicker. Yeah. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the first Smackdown after the draft. Smackdown begins the way that Smackdown always begins recently. Kayla Braxton's in the ring and she welcomes Seth Rollins to the ring. Burn it down, all of that. Then he comes out, and she's like, "So Seth, since WrestleMania, you've really been getting this whole open challenge thing, this whole Seth Rollins gives it a chance to showcase some of the talent here on SmackDown. What is your end goal here exactly?" And Seth's like, Kayla, why does it have to be an end goal here? I'm on SmackDown, I've got nothing else to do, I can't fight Roman Reigns, in case you forgot. I'm not allowed to fight Roman. So, what else am I going to do other than showcase why I am the best damn wrestler on not just this roster, but the entire business today? And hell, I've got nothing to do tonight, so what are we saying? PPG Paints Arena? How about Seth Rollins issues another challenge right now? The Seth freaking Rollins freaking open invitational. It's time. Who wants some of me tonight? Out comes Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews is somebody that we've not really... I mean, he's existed, but he's mainly been mid-card fodder on the heel side of Raw. Which, that is a trap that I fall into, because I think I've actually caught myself this time. Normally I'll be like, oh, I want to get him more time to be on TV, so I'm going to put him on Raw, because then, obviously with the extra hour, I'm like, yeah, he'll get more time. But that ends up not really being the case, because I do have, like, a lot more people on Raw. Plus, with the way SmackDown is formatted, I feel like people are more inclined to miss weeks on SmackDown. I feel like the World Champion and she are on Raw every single week because it's more storyline progressing, but SmackDown's sort of like the more wrestling show, so I don't need to have all of the people on every single week, and we can sort of rotate in guys like Apollo. But it's okay, because Apollo's got some stuff to do this season. So, starting here, he's got a fairly big role here tonight. He comes out. He's like, Seth Rollins, the old Monday Night Messiah, burn it down, the architect, all of that. What makes you tick? Because you can come out here and you can say, Kayla, there's no end goal, I just want to be the best and prove I'm the best, Seth freaking Rollins, yada yada yada. I know that's not true, I can see it in your eyes, Seth. Do you know what I see? I see somebody who's lost. Somebody who doesn't quite know what his purpose is. If I see that was deflection, because that question, what's the end goal here, Seth, that cut deep in you, because you don't really have one, because you can't challenge for the world title anymore. And that eats you up, and you're trying to make yourself think you're okay with that. But you're not, and I'm going to expose you for the fraud that you are right now, so yes, Seth, I accept your damn open challenge. Now what about it? And Seth's like, well, that was a lot of words. Some of it rings true, some of it may not ring true, but one thing that will ring true is I'm going to kick your ass and burn it down for the people here of the PPG Paints Arena. So Seth and Apollo gets a 90. Yep, this is why I'm doing these. This is the out of kayfabe reason why these are happening. Because we start off with a fucking blue match. I think Seth's only ever had blue matches since he returned at, in July last year. But Seth beats Apollo, 11:31 curb stomp, 87 for Crews, 96 for Seth. And Seth celebrates. Yeah, burn it down, we got the win. But Apollo grabs the microphone. Like, he's still laid out, but he sort of gets conscious a little bit and starts tapping the microphone and goes, is this on? Like, Seth, you can celebrate all you want, Seth, but you know what I told you is true. You know that everything I said is true, Seth. You're lost right now. You're a man on an island. Because you can't get your way back to that island of relevancy that Roman Reigns is on. So you've got to take it out on little old me. And Seth, he sort of got his back to Apollo because he's going to go start walking up the ramp, but then he sort of just stops and listens to what Apollo's got to say. He turns around, he's like, alright. He gets in the ring and he stomps Apollo Crews again to a big pop. And they chant one more time, and he stomps him for a third time. So yeah, he gets the big babyface pop, Seth Rollins, yay, but I don't know. Maybe Apollo's found a chink in that armor. Bayley then arrives to the arena. And she's got a bag, she's getting out of the car, and she's ran up to by, probably not Kayla, she's busy tonight, some other Smackdown, Megan Morant, that's her name. And she's like, Bayley, Mr. Pierce says that he wants to see you in his office. And he's like, what? Already? I've only just got here. Fine. Then we follow Bayley through the hallways into Pierce's office. And she knocks on the door. We hear Pierce go, come in. Door opens. And there standing in the office is Adam Pearce and a goofy, smiling Cora Jade. Bayley's like, what is she doing here, Pierce? He's like, listen, I know, but look, hear me out. Cora made some good points. Like, whilst my security were dragging her out of the arena, kicking and screaming, she made some good points. We do need a #1 contender for Dakota Kai at Judgment Day. And Io and Kyrie, they've sort of been on Raw with this whole Charlotte thing and Jordan. So I think they're working Backlash. So, they're out of the equation. They're busy with tag team stuff. Like Cora said, Bianca Belair, she was our top contender. She moved over to Raw. So we need to find somebody else, Bayley. That's where you come in. See, in the main event tonight, there's going to be a fatal 4-way match. It's going to be yourself. It's going to be Shotzi Blackheart. It's going to be Sasha Banks, I believe. And who is the 4th woman in that match? Toni Storm, that's it, yeah. And the winner of that match will face Dakota at Judgment Day. She's like, wow, Pierce, thank you for the opportunity, I won't let you down. And Cora's like, see? My trips to SmackDown did all work out in the end. And Pierce is like, well. She's like, what? It's like, well, you see, you're still actually not contracted to be on SmackDown. So, fear not, I'm not going to have my security eject you out again, Cora, because I like your fire, your tenacity. You're going to have a match tonight, and if you can win that match, sure, I'll give you a SmackDown contract. Cora's like, that's great, Pierce. It's my dream to be on SmackDown. I'll beat whoever you put me up against. Pierce is like, great. You're facing the SmackDown Women's Champion, Dakota Kai. And Cora's like, fine. I'll beat her, Bayley. Bayley, do you want to come out and help me? And Bayley's like, sorry, kid, I've got a main event to prepare for. So it just walks off. And Cora's like, oh fuck. Double trouble have arrived. They get a quick squash win over Fallon Henry and Kai McKenna, who I still need to rename. And Anne-Marie Porter pin submits Fallon Henley. 47 for Anne-Marie, 36 for Kelsey, 37 for Kai Kamara, 47 Kaya McKenna, and a 34 for Fallon Henley. So they're here, Babyface Young Tag Team, Women's Division. Anne-Marie Porter, of course, Anna Jay had to be renamed because that's the new rule that you've put in place. I think her real name was like Anne Maria or something, so I was like, yeah, Anne Marie, and then Porter because Jane Porter because she's dating Tarzan. That is my logic behind this awesome name here. And of course, Kelsey Cook is Julia Hart, but we renamed her before, so I'm used to that name by now. But then get a sit-down interview with Pat McAfee talking to Ember Moon and Mia Yim, who we haven't really heard from since Ember turned on Shotzi the night after, or the SmackDown after Mania, and aligned with Mia. She's like, just what is this? Basically, Pat asks, and Ember's like, we see Pat McAfee. Here's the deal. I'm Ember Moon, damn it. I'm a former NXT Women's Champion. I'm a former SmackDown Women's Champion. I'm a former Women's Tag Team Champion. I've pretty much done it all. I'm a Raw Women's Championship away from the goddamn Grand Slam. Yet this rookie, this green-haired punk in a tank, thinks that she's the star of our team. She threw me out of that battle royal. She took the opportunities that I should have deserved in matches with Io Shirai, in matches with Sasha Banks, in matches with Bayley. The list goes on. Why was she getting given these opportunities over me, McAfee? So, of course, it's not that I don't want to have a partner, okay? I'm well aware that having friends is the way to the top here. And being able to break rules is the way to the top here, and who's a better rule breaker than a former member of the New America, a woman who's used to getting her way through violence and through attacks and through just making a goddamn statement. That's Mia Yim. See, Mia Yim's much more like me in that regard, not like Shotzi. Okay? So, the message is simple, no pun intended. The message is simple. We are here to take what is ours, which is those women's tag team championships, the Smackdown women's championships. We're tired of just sitting on the back lines, letting this new wave of young, plucky, green-haired fools take control of this roster. Because we are the standard bearers here in this division. And sooner or later, everyone's going to see it. Then, of course, Shotzi and... No, not Shotzi and Ember, because Ember's not here, of course. Shotzi is watching that on the monitor backstage. Like, we have to do one per show, apparently. That's my booking cliche that I like to abuse. And Kayla comes up. She's like, Shotzi, your thoughts on all of that? And Shotzi's like, you know, Ember says one thing that Ember Moon really said there that really got to me. She's like, oh, I know friends are how you get to the top of this business. No, you don't. Mia Yim is not a friend to Ember Moon. Mia Yim is a business partner to Ember Moon. I was a friend to Ember Moon, and I thought that my friend would be happy to see me getting these opportunities because I was never jealous of her when I first came up, and I really was brand new before I even found my feet here on SmackDown. She was the former SmackDown Women's Champion, and I was just Ember Moon's friend. I used to be Rob Gronkowski's friend. I used to be a lot of friends. I've had a lot of friends. I still do have a lot of friends, including this woman. And Utami walks in, and she's like, I'm not Shotzi's friend, but when I see wrongdoing, I take action. And Shotzi's like, well, I have a main event to prepare for, because I don't know if Ember Moon noticed that my accolades and my performances have got me in this main event, and she's not in it. So she can suck on that. Then Sasha Banks and Indy walk in, silence for Sasha, etc. And she just laughs. She's like, really? How many times have I got to beat you to prove to you that you don't belong on my level? Like, I've got Indy by my side. I've got my backup. And you've lost yours. So, when it all comes out there, it's all everyone for herself. Watch your back, because the boss is going to drop you with that bank statement and put you down and some punch her ticket to Judgment Day. And maybe Indy will, like, help me get there, because, again, when you're a good friend, you get to have that power and that responsibility. Then Utami sort of just steps in Sasha's way, just gets in her face. She's like, you won't try anything. And Sasha just sort of like, you can tell she looks worried, but she tries to act all cocky. She's like, but try me, yeah. And it sort of walks off. First time I think they've actually been on the show since WrestleMania. The entire House of Black. Alistair, Elias, Brody King, Danny Luna, Mark Andrews, and Flash Webster, with the SmackDown Tag Team titles being held by Brody King and Elias, but we will freebird them. So, yeah, but because I know Alistair and Brody won them at Mania, but we're gonna freebird them, and having Elias and Brody hold them here would sort of cement that, like, there must be freebirding them. And Alistair's on the mic, and he says, my mission has never been complicated. This place, from the top to the bottom, is corrupt. And my corruption is the best way to fight corporate corruption. Because us here at the House of Black, we're special. Elias, he's more than a mere bum on the side of the road. Brody, he's more than a king. The subculture, more than just streetwise. They're important parts and pieces of my board. I'm currently devising tactics so that my corruption will checkmate the entire WWE. And it starts with us holding the Smackdown Tag Team Championships, which all of us, if one member of the house wins, the entire house wins, because the house always wins. And then we hear, "Shoosh, shoosh, please." And out come the Alpha Academy. And Gable's like, "Shoosh, shoosh, okay, listen here, buddy. I don't know if you remember me, but I'm Chad Gable. I'm sort of a tag team aficionado. You know, Raw Tag Team Champion in the past, SmackDown Tag Team Champion in the past, NXT Tag Team Champion, any kind of Tag Team Champion, Olympian, big brain, PhD, thank you. Anyway, you can sit here and play your little chess with me all you want, Aleister Black, but you don't want to get into a game of intellect with the man with the 4.0 GPA. Thank you. And more importantly, you don't want to get into a wrestling fight with an Olympian. Because I see this here, this isn't tag team acumen like you think it is, Aleister. This is a game to you. But us, we're gonna win this game. Because I'm owed a rematch for those tag team championships after I got moved from Raw to SmackDown. And you just so happen to have them. So we'll be taking those whenever you see fit. Thank you. Then a fight breaks out. Danny sort of gets out of the way because, yeah, but they're still outnumbered 5-on-4 because you can't see Desmond and Thatcher. They are here, but yeah, 5-on-4, beat down. House of Black leave the Alpha Academy laying. I didn't plan this to be a babyface turn in my head for the Alpha Academy, but like booking it out, like the Shush thing is popular. They're feuding with the House of Black, who are the heels, and they're fighting for the right of like wrestling. So I guess I sort of have accidentally just turned them babyface, which I don't know if that was the plan. I'm not going to tell you it wasn't. But, you know, at least for this feud, we'll roll with it. They'll be the perennial babyfaces by proxy in this feud, I guess. We then get to a commercial. We see the assault from House of Black on Alpha Academy. And then we got back from commercial and Kayla is with the injured members of the Alpha Academy. Kayla's like, "Chad Gable, you just tried to take it to the SmackDown Tag Team Champions House of Black and you got sheesh, please." It's like, well, listen, Kayla. You think me, of all people, me with my genius brain, didn't know what happened out there? Okay? We got outnumbered. That's what happened. Otis, he's decimating him. My talks after WrestleMania got into his brain. He's here to crush. Coach Thatcher, just like me, expert on the mat. Desmond Troy, the hottest rising prospect in the entire Alpha Academy. But the numbers. Even with the numbers, we can't. Especially with the numbers. That's the only reason why they're winning, Kayla. And Thatcher sort of steps in, he's like, "Tim!" And he steps in, he's like, puts his hand on his shoulder, he's like, "Ring the boys. Tell them to be here next week." And he's like, "Got it." And Kayla's like, "The boys? Chad, who are the boys?" And he's like, "Wouldn't you like to know, Kayla? But let me just give you one little secret. The Alpha Academy, as we've always said, as always, open for business. And if you want to come join, we're open to take new recruits. Thank you. And then he leaves. 70 rated match. Short, I guess. Doesn't really matter. I didn't do this for the actual match either. I did it because there's an angle that it sets up. Gargano against Cruz del Toro of Legado de la Sombra. Johnny wins in 5 minutes by DQ when Joaquin and Andrade run in and attack him. DQ finish on Smackdown, boo. Bad finish. Okay, I know, but we move on. And Legado continue to assault Gargano. Of course, Candice gets in the ring, but Raquel Rodriguez lays her out. Boom. And these two, the wrestlings, just can't seem to get the upper hand over Legado. Quick 1 minute segment. This is literally 1 minute segment of just Io and Kyrie chilling in wherever Io and Kyrie chill. I don't know what sort of location they'd hang out at. But it's just letting them know they're still on SmackDown because they kind of accept the tag title match, Charlotte and Jordan against Io and Kyrie's official for Backlash next Sunday. So 3 episodes time. Just to get them on the show. Speaking of getting them on the show, Trick and Carmelo, they're at their barbershop. You know, if you've watched NXT, some on NXT, you know they hang out at that barbershop a lot. And Trick's like, well, Melo, I'd say the draft was a success. They couldn't handle Melo. They knew that he was a big star. He went round 2 in the draft. That's about it, Melo. And I was like, yeah. And then Dolph Ziggler, he's going to start running his mouth thinking he's better than me. And Trick's like, that's right, Melo, you put him in the ground. That's about it. And Melo's like, yeah, Trick, I did. And you see, Trick, he's just the start of it because there's more held has-beens on that roster. They're going to try to get in my path, get in my way. Dolph Ziggler's only the first of them. I hit John Morrison. I had John Morrison in my DMs calling me out, saying I'm a punk for what I did to Ziggler. And Trick's like, oh, you know, looks like you got to come to SmackDown next week and teach John Morrison a lesson, Melo. Come on, smack him up, Melo. You don't miss. And he's like, yeah, I don't, Trick. And you know, I like that. I like what you're putting down, Trick. So yeah, Morrison, if you're listening to me, I'll see you next week. So just a quick segment to get Melo and Trick on the show, show off their personality, which they've got tons of. And yeah, he's going to fight John Morrison next week because I guess Morrison is the grizzled veteran, just like Dolph Ziggler, and he took exception to what Melo did to Dolph last week. 69 for this match. Actually did pretty good considering the ratings they got. But of course, Cora, without Bayley's help, gets devoured by the SmackDown Women's Champion in 5 minutes. Scorpion kick. Just to give Jakara a nice win because she has had a couple of... I think she's spoken on Heat. She's been having promos on Heat. But she leaves her talking. She lets her feet do the talking in the ring, really, instead of on the microphone. 41 for Cora, 70 for Dakota. And now she's just cost Cora Jade a chance at SmackDown contract, I guess. And now she's got to sit back and watch the main event to see who's going to face her at Judgment Day. But first, the Kevin Owens show. And he's got a very, very special guest, a man that he personally knows all so well. The man who made a new draft pick to SmackDown, made his statement at the end of last week's show, after my match, in fact. Mr. Adam Cole, baby. Now comes Adam Cole onto the KO show. He's like, well, Kevin, thanks for having me. You know, it has been a long time, hasn't it? He's like, it has, Adam. So how are you holding up? How you doing? It's like, you know, yeah. It's been great here on Raw, you know. I had the Undisputed Era. I had them all. But then, I guess, Kyle O'Reilly got too big for his breeches. I had to cut him off. He got lucky at WrestleMania, but I'm not going to let that stop me. Adam Cole Bebe is always in high spirits because he knows he's going to be the next United States champion. And I was like, you know, that Braun Breaker is a son of a bitch. Did you know that? And Cole's like, yeah, I did. He just say he was a son of a bitch. Did you know why he's a son of a bitch? Because Braun Breaker is the personification of the new NXT. And Adam Cole Bebe, he's the heart and soul. Don't care what Johnny Gargano's got to say. Adam Cole Bebe was the heart and soul of the old NXT. And everybody knows the old NXT is way better than the new NXT. So why is this guy from the new NXT the United States Champion when Adam Cole baby is right here? So that's why I took Braun Breaker out, because these kids, these 2.0 kids, you know, Kevin, you're an old NXT champion like me. You know, the good old days of the black and gold. We've got to put these 2.0 kids down in their place. And Kevin's like, I'm going to stop you before this gets out of hand. Listen. No. And Carl's like, what do you mean no? He's like, I see where this is going. You want me to help you defeat Braun Breaker. And Kev's like, well, after seeing what you did to the Undisputed Era, how can I trust you when I know you're just going to stab me in the back at any given opportunity? Awkward silence. And Carl's like, you think I'm going to stab you in the back? Kevin, that's your whole thing. Nobody stabbed anyone in the back more than you have. How do I know you're not going to stab me in the back? And Kev's like, I'll tell you how you know I'm not going to stab you in the back, Adam Cole, baby, because I'm not interested. And then they start arguing, and then out comes LA Knight. And he's like, you know, Kevin Owens, when I heard that you're interviewing the hottest new megastar here on the Smackdown roster, I was stunned to see Adam Cole's name on the billing for the Kevin Owens show, because everyone knows there's only one new megastar here on Smackdown, and that's LA Knight. Yeah. And Cole's like, what do you want, LA Knight? He's like, well, listen here, boy. You like to take credit for breaking up the Undisputed Era, but let me tell you who got through into your brain, and that was LA Knight on the LA Knight show. Let me tell you who got through to Kyle O'Reilly's brain. That was LA Knight on the LA Knight show, and clearly I got through to Kyle O'Reilly better than I did to you, because that's why he beat you at WrestleMania, you little punk bitch. Oh, he's like, what did you say to me? He's like, Kev's like, wait, who invited you onto my show? You come on my show, you start kicking up a scene? I don't think so, buddy. It's like, no, you listen to me, Kevin Owens. Nobody cares about your goddamn KO show. There's only one megastar talk show that brings the ratings here on Friday Night SmackDown, and that's the LA Knight show. Yeah. And Cole's like, you know what? I've been sick of your shit for so many months. I'm ready for a fight. You're ready for a fight. Fight me right now, LA Knight. And he's like, don't mind if I do, yeah. So this one was intentional. We're going babyface LA Knight. Because I also think he's good as the heel. But I did love babyface LA Knight towards the end of NXT, his NXT run. So we're going to run with babyface LA Knight. And because I can't have LA Knight, The Miz, fucking Bobby Roode, and fucking Kevin Owens, Adam Cole. These are all the same person. So, like, they're all just dickheads. So, like, yeah, we'll make LA Knight the babyface. And he's now going to fight Adam Cole. Gets an 80. The good old flying crossbody puts him down because of a distraction from Kevin Owens. And I want to make it clear that he's not aligning with Adam Cole. I'd be fucking stupid to give him a new friend after someone just turned on him. So, like, he's just got beef with LA Knight interrupting the KO show, I guess. And he's cast LA Knight this match. But then go backstage to the Garganos in the medical room. And Johnny's like, you know what? Candice, I can't do this anymore. She's like, Johnny, what? Don't say that. He's like, what was it? It's like this whole Legado de la Sombra thing. Like, me and Andrade, I beat Andrade at WrestleMania, but he's not letting that lie. And now he's got these other goons on his side. And he's got Raquel who's attacking you. It's all just... I know I have the heart. And I want to keep fighting, but... there's nobody that is on my side other than you. Candice is like, well... I'm sure if we looked around hard enough, we could find other people that want to fight Legado with us. And Johnny's like, wait a minute. He sort of looks shocked at Candice. He's like, oh, Candice. She's like, what? He puts his hand on her shoulder. He's like, Candice. And she's like, oh, no. Johnny, no. No. Don't do it. And he's like, Candice. She's like, Johnny, do not call him. And then Johnny's like, fine, I won't call him. But you know I'm right. And Candice is like, Maybe so, but we don't want to go down that road again. That road is behind us, Johnny. Okay. So, no names have been mentioned, but I feel like people that know the lore of these two and paid enough attention to the draft and which show certain other people ended up on could probably have a good hunch as to who is being referenced in this segment. 83 rated main event. Bayley does it. Bayley defeats Shotzi, Sasha and Toni when she pins Toni Storm with the headlock driver because Shotzi gets attacked by Mia Yim. And I want to keep Sasha strong because I don't want to lose her popularity. And sorry, you need to clear my throat there, you know. Just had to make sure Sasha was booked the way she wanted to be, that's all. That's all, yeah. 77 for Bayley, 70 for Shotzi, 93 for Sasha, and a 73 for Toni Storm. But of course, that may be the main event match of the night. But the show is far from over, because as Bayley leaves, the music of the Tribal Chief hits. And as Paul Heyman promised last week, we're going to hear from the WWE Champion. And Roman's like, PPG paints arena. Acknowledge me. It's like, huh. I know The Rock acknowledged me back at WrestleMania. Seth Rollins, he can't stop acknowledging me. But I'm sick of this. The draft has come and gone. The Tribal Chief went number 2. The Tribal Chief should be on Raw right now. He should have been number 1 draft pick. But apparently they picked Rhea Ripley over the Tribal Chief, which, all more power to you. I hate Raw, but the Bloodline is, as much as I may be stronger than ever, the Bloodline is weak right now. Oh, that ain't got nothing to do with the Tribal Chief or the Wise Man. He turns around to Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso. He's like, get your asses over here. It's like, what you two doing losing at WrestleMania? And Jimmy's, they just say sorry. He's like, what you doing losing at WrestleMania, Jimmy? It's like, I'm sorry, Uso. I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you. It's like, and you, he points at Jacob Fatu. He's like, what you doing losing to Seth Rollins of all people at WrestleMania? And then Jacob Fatu takes the mic. And he's going to speak for the first time. And out comes Keith Lee. And he's like, greetings and salutations, Mr. Roman Reigns. You see, I can't help but notice you're out here blabbering on like you always do. Because the thing is, the draft has come and gone, and there's a whole array of new challengers for the Tribal Chief. And while Jacob Fatu, he may be big and badass, he sure as hell is not limitless. And if there's one person on this roster that has acknowledged you more than anybody else over the years, Roman Reigns, it is I, Keith Lee. See, back at Survivor Series 3 years ago, I acknowledged you for the first time. I acknowledged you when I first came to Smackdown 2 years ago. And tonight I'm acknowledging you again. I'm acknowledging you as my opponent for the WWE Championship at Judgment Day. And Roman's like, who the hell do you think you are, Keith? Coming out here, interrupting the Tribal Chief, the head of the table. Demanding a change of opportunity. Why don't you earn a championship opportunity? Get to the back of the line. And Keith's like, I figured as much. Perhaps the Tribal Chief is lacking in the testicular region, so to speak. Roman's like, Heyman takes the mic like, you know what, Keith Lee, we've had enough of you. Okay? You want to challenge for the Tribal Chief at Judgment Day? The Tribal Chief accepts your challenge for Judgment Day. But next week, you need to prove that you can handle the Bloodline. You're going to go one-on-one with Jacob Fatu next week. And that Then we'll learn where you fall on this bloodline, where you fall compared to the bloodline, Keith. Let's see if you're ready for the tribal chief, because the Samoan werewolf is going to put you down, Mr. Bear Cat. And then the bloodline leave. And Roman is the last to leave the ring. And he quickly turns around and goes to Superman punch Keith Lee. But Keith Lee sort of swaps him out of the air. And Roman looks at him all shocked, and Keith screams at him. And Roman goes to leave, but Keith grabs him. He goes to hoist him up for the BBC, but the Uso and Jacob Fatu pull him off and pull him out of the ring. But the belt's obviously left on the floor, and Keith Lee picks up the WWE title and lifts it up in the air, and he's like, "Oh, this will be mine, your tribal chief," to end the show. 91, banging episode of Smackdown, that. And yeah, really fun episode to book as we move closer to Judgment Day, which is on week 2 of May, because I had to change the pay-per-view schedule up, which is why I've taken my time to sort of like start building some matches, because I had 6 weeks, whereas Raw only had 4, so Raw went gung-ho from the start. SmackDown's had to like take a couple of weeks to really get stuff going with the Alpha Academy and House of Black, Keith and Roman, Bayley and Dakota, etc. But yeah, we now move on to Velocity, where we'll see the first 2 matches of Group C and D of the Cruiserweight World Cup. This is what I like about Velocity compared to Heat, because Heat is a sports entertainment show, for lack of a better term. Like, we do angles and stuff on Heat, so it takes a little bit longer to record. But this is literally just 4 matches, bang, 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 bang. No RJ City like shenanigans on this show. And this week it's just going to be Group C and D's World Cup matches. And we start off with a big match, kind of an upset. Ricochet loses to Big Dudders with the Dudley device. They don't click, but they still get a banger of an 85 rating. So imagine if they did click, that would be something. But I'm not going to beat Big Dudders, even in the World Cup. So he's going to get the upset of Ricochet. He gets an 84, and Big Dudders gets a 69. And then the other match in that group sees Ikemen Jiro, I guess also kind of an upset. He beats Ari Sterling in 9 minutes of a dropkick. 31 for Jiro, 72 for Sterling. So a crazy 2 matches in that group. As we move on to Group D's first match. Oh, Wesley and August Gray, the former extra himself, have a bit of a banger. Gets a 73, 10 minutes 58. Wesley beats August Gray by submission. Wesley gets his first win of the board, 3 points for him. 70 for Wes and a 54 for August. And the main event is a banger of a match, hopefully. Yep, 84. Not quite a batch of a banger as Ricochet and Dudley, but Akira Tozawa beats former World Heavyweight Champion Oni Logan. I know, we love Oni. We love him so, but look at the ratings. TEW did not want this man to be a main eventer, so he's sort of on ice right now. And Tozawa, he's the one feuding with the tag team champions on Raw, so he needs the dub more, IMO. So yeah, he gets a big win alongside Wesley in that group. And that's Velocity, that's simple as that, okay? 83 for that, and 91 I think for the actual Smackdown, and then I'll see you next time for 423, no, 243 even, which I believe, yes, it is the go-home show for Backlash. Finally about to hit my first pay-per-view since Mania. See you then.